Comment down below. Comment down below. Please subscribe. Comment down below. Comment down. Yo, so I wanted to talk about a little technique that I use every now and then, which is like it's like a vocal synth technique essentially. It's not something that I've seen done much, and that's kind of why I wanted to just run over it. And a friend of mine basically just dropped me a message saying, how do you do your your vocal technique, sort of vocal synth technique? And I thought, well, why don't I just do a little video on it? So I'm just gonna dive straight in basically and see whether it's any use. Essentially what it is 3 or 4 Little AlterBoys. So it's Little AlterBoy, the plugin by Soundtoys, and essentially I just use it a lot in robot mode. And with that I use the MIDI control feature that it has, and that allows me to do like multiple harmonies of it, and I just find that I like the sound of it. I think it just sounds, I've used a lot of different types of plugins, like different vocal synthesizing plugins, and although there's some really cool results you can get from them, I don't quite get this result. And this is kind of like, I'd love to know if there is one. I know Antares Harmony Engine I think is pretty close to it, like yeah, so but I haven't tried it myself, but I'd absolutely love to. But I think, to be honest, I'm really happy with the results I get with this. So I'm just going to run you through like how I do it, what my approach is, and like, hopefully give you some ideas to do something more creative, and see if we can just kind of share some ideas back and forth. Or maybe, you're looking at it going, mate, that's like really unnecessary, just do this. And I'll be like, oh, great. But yeah, I'd love to know. Diving in. So it's just a little tune I did. This is literally like a song a day idea that I did with a friend of mine a little while ago, where I just did like a beat challenge a day. This is one of them beats. I just saw a little vocal on it. I thought, well, why don't I just sing a little something on it? So it sounds like this. Anyway, you get the gist. Right, so basically I'm just going to do a short loop in the intro. Oh, please subscribe. Comment down below. Comment down below. Let's have a listen back to that. Oh, please subscribe. Comment down below. Comment down below. I mean, that's just beautiful, isn't it? Right, so now with that, I'm gonna just add a much needed auto-tune here. So, oh, please subscribe. Comment down below. Comment down below. Again, I just love the character that this auto-tune has. So essentially what we're going to do is we've got the lead vocal, and then we're going to do the harmony vocals after that. And that's where Little AlterBoy comes in. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate this lead vocal, and then we're literally going to call this, we'll rename it, we'll call it RoboVox, like so. And then we're going to make this nice and bright blue, nice and pretty, so that we know what it is. And now I'm just going to mute the lead vocal, and we'll come back to that later. I'm going to leave the auto-tune on because I want to keep that character. You can take the auto-tune off, and it gets a lot more, organic. You know, but part of me kind of really likes the fact that it doesn't sound organic. Right, so if I just go and pull up a Little AlterBoy. Wicked. Right, so essentially we're going to split it into 3 bands, low, mids and highs. So I'm going to take this, go to the robot setting, and then what I'm going to do straight away is group it, like so. The only way you're going to do this in other DAWs, for example, like Pro Tools or I'm not sure about Logic, but basically what you can do in Ableton is you've got chains, and you can add multiple chains, and essentially what that does, that essentially now acts as a splitter. So that's now splitting the signal into 2 separate effects chains, and allowing you to process them separately. I guess in something like Pro Tools, you would have to actually create another track and then branch off from there. I don't know if there's any third-party plugins that allows you. I really don't think so. But essentially, you want to be able to split the signal so that then you can affect them all separately, then send them to a bus at the end, and do any EQ compression and stuff like that to the bus at the end as well. So yeah, but luckily in Ableton you can just do it all in one effects rack, and then basically save that and then just pull it up whenever you need it, which I find super handy. Right, anyway, moving forward, let's get, we'll call this low. We'll put that at the bottom. Mid, we'll call that mid. And then one more high. Wicked. And then if we just do some really nice color code in there, we know what's what. Sweet. Right, so this is going to be the low. So essentially what we're doing here is we're turning the vocal into one note, which sounds like this. I mean, that is just stunning. So it just flattens the note, which is what we want. We want to flatten all the notes and then control them on the keyboard. So now what we're going to do is just take that, we're going to just duplicate it, like so, and then we can just literally fling that down an octave and hit transpose, not robot, because we want, we don't want to make it robot again, if you know what I mean. Wicked. So now that we've got that, that should sound like this. Brilliant. And then what we can do is the same again. So if I essentially just duplicate this first one that I made like this, so if I take that, just pop that on the mids track, and then just do it again on the highs. Now that's on all three bands essentially. So it's going to sound like this. Subscribe. I know, still doesn't sound very good, but it will do. So what you want to do now is essentially create 3 MIDI tracks, right, which correspond to these 3 chains in the effects rack. So for example, if I was to just create a MIDI track here, then what you're going to do is you're going to set the output to the RoboVox, which is this track here. And again, you should be able to do this in other DAWs. I know you can. And then essentially, if you see here, you can actually choose what plugin you send, you're controlling. So essentially, that's what I would do. Here's one I prepared earlier. So I've just got 3 MIDI tracks where I've just played in some bits. So essentially all I'm going to do is set the output to RoboVox on all 3 of them, like so. So now that we've set that all to RoboVox, now that one is set to high, which is what we want. That one is set to, because we want them to control different plugins. And then this one we're going to set to the first low. Now, I'm going to go with the assumption that that's the first low. So if I just do this, arm the MIDI track, go up to here, check low, check the first plugin. If I just hit the keyboard, okay, nada. So let me just check again by going to this one. There we go. Look at that. Wonderful. Right, that works. So, in theory, when I hit play, this should now sound a little bit nicer. So this should sound like this. Now, just something to note when tracking these in, and I actually, although it's kind of a limitation, I quite like it. Reason being, you just essentially, you hit the note and that tells the plugin where to put the pitch. Now, the good thing about that is it makes you think about it. It makes you think about the note that you're going to do. You can't polyphonically play them all in, but you can really, I don't know, I just find it's nice to be able to just have control over each note, do passes of each band, and just, I just find I'm more creative that way rather than just playing chords, because then you just jump to the notes that you'd usually jump to, whereas I just quite like, I mean, I'm not a keys player, I'm terrible at keys, so that might be why, but like, I don't know, I find it's quite nice just to do it individually. Also, one more thing to bear in mind, obviously the plugin is limited to 2 octaves, so you're only going to be able to play within those 2 octaves. If you want to, jump up an octave or down an octave, you're going to need to use another instance of it in order to be able to actually get the full, the range of that. And again, you'll have to do that on a separate thing. I mean, this theory could be as big as you want it to be. I'm only doing 3 bands, but you could go like, I don't know, do something crazy shit. So, next band, mids. Please subscribe, comment down below, comment down below. As you see, it just, I don't know, I just think it behaves really nicely with the different dynamics on the vocal and stuff. So then, if you were to take the mids here and just pan them, I like to pan them left and right like that. It just kind of opens it all up. Keep the lows down the middle. Please subscribe, comment down below, comment down below. Yeah, I really like that. And then put the lead vocal back in. Please subscribe, comment down below, comment down below. And then what you could do, what I like to do, is just edit this vocal. So like, I remember hearing a quote, I can't remember where from, but somebody said, robots don't breathe. And it's true, or at least it is at the moment. But I just find cutting out the sibilances, any, sort of unwanted frequencies that kind of come, like S's suddenly just become very like, so you just want to kind of do away with them like so. Just, just chop into it, be as aggressive as you need to be with it, because you've got the lead vocal, that's doing a lot of the work. So I'll just kind of, please subscribe. Maybe even this here, even this S, you could just try like dropping it down with the gain. Subscribe. Lovely. Subscribe. Comment down below. Comment down below. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. Please subscribe. Comment down below. Comment down below. Yeah, so that's like the basic kind of, the basic instrument right there. So I just want to talk a little bit about the mixing side of things, really. So if I was to go now to here, essentially what I'm going to do is just solo them. You could also just group these together. I like to do that, because then I'll actually save this and put this as part of my user library. So I'd actually label this one RoboVox, and then label this one vocal, and then these are the MIDI. So I'll keep that as MIDI. Why not? Wicked. Right. So something I like to do is, again, when I'm doing this kind of like harsh kind of sound designy stuff, bit of OTT, just kind of. There is actually a free version of this by, is it Xfer? I don't know if that's how it's said, but you can literally download it, and it's basically a copy of this preset of the multi-band compressor. Yeah, there we go. And that's available in other, you know, DAWs and stuff like that. Cool. So, you know, you're really going to start to notice all the sibilants and stuff with, you know, with the compression. So I'm just going to... Yeah, there we go. So you see, there's not a lot going on there. You can't really hear a lot of the, you know, the words. But as soon as you obviously layer that up with the lead, oh, please subscribe. You just don't need it. Comment down below. You know what I mean? So yeah, something like this. I would also jump to an EQ as well. Probably, I mean, before it, so that it's, you know, it's not having to do unnecessary work. So like. And then with low end as well, it's always nice to just use a bit of saturation. You know, again, use a saturator of your choice. It really doesn't matter. I like this one because it sounds really, really good, and I spent lots of money on it. So I'm going to use it a lot. To me, sounds pretty good, and that's, you know, there's not a lot going on there. Again, I could go far more in depth with this. You could assign macros to things as well. Like you could do like a dry wet knob. You can, you know, you can choose how much compression you want just by you know, in Ableton. You could then, for example, I don't know, do like separate chains, just do a volume to it, and then something like that. I could, you know, there's so many tutorials on how to map, you know, macro assign things and things like that. I don't feel like I need to do that. But like, yeah, if it's really something people want, then I can always show you. But yeah, I'm just going to call that effects. And then, yeah, that's fine. Just keep that as it is because I'm lazy. Oh, you know what's bothering me? That's just not coming in on the one, is it? That's a bit bad. I can live with that. Just going to chop that off there as well. Still a bit late, isn't it? Please subscribe. Comment down below. That is fine. I'm not going to get OTT. This is a tutorial, Callum. Tutorial. Right, so next one. Please subscribe. Mute that lead vocal. Please subscribe. Again, not that these really need a lot. Again, you could go easier on the compression. What I really want to look out for, and this is something I get a lot with generally vocal processing in general, there seems to be, right, this weird kind of like hollow sound. I don't know, like somewhere around. I don't know. There's just this weird, like a lot of the time it just all sounds like it's in a box. And that's the one thing that really gets to me about a lot of vocal processors. There aren't any that just sound great. Like, to me, like, I don't know, like Bon Iver, for example, his like, there's nothing kind of boxy about the sound of his vocoder usage and things like that. And where I've just found that I have to actually, you know, put a lot of effort in to get it to sound like that. going to go with something like that. I want to keep that low end in. And then let's try just something a little bit harsher, but not too harsh in terms of not like OTT. Again, you could just like shove OTT on everything and see what happens, but there we go. Okay, match that. Please don't cry. Comment down below. Please don't cry. Comment down below. Comment down below. Cool, I like that. So then the next one's probably going to be quite similar. So I'm just going to basically do the same again. Dupe this over onto this band and just have a listen. Please don't cry. Comment down below. Cool. Then what you can do is obviously once you've done all of that, you could do it here on the vocal. We'll do it here on the vocal actually, because you could do effects up here on the group. But I'm going to do them here, because then when it comes to like final mix down, you could do it there. I tend to bounce things out and jump into Pro Tools when mixing, so it doesn't really affect me too much. But yeah, if you want to like freeze this or whatever, probably best to do all your processing after this on the track, because you can't freeze groups. So yeah, probably just do it on here. So if I was to, for example, have a listen to it all together. So one thing I'd like to do is just give it some more harmonics and just saturation really. So there's a few different things you could use, you know, decapitator. Please don't cry. Please don't cry. Please don't cry. Comment down below. Comment down below. Please don't cry. And then you could, you know, do some EQ, more EQ. Obviously, if there was some more like compression on the lead as well, obviously if you go for that like pop sound or something, that's going to sound really good, I think. Please subscribe, comment down below, comment down below. And that's really it, to be honest. I mean, again, you can just experiment with it, go further with it. Sounds great with like some reverb on it. Like, I know I've been trying out the new Ableton Convolution, or just for time's sake, I've just pulled this up, so I'm just going to, you know, always get a good sound from this. So, like, please subscribe, comment down below, comment down, please subscribe, comment down below. Sometimes I'll actually put the reverb before the distortion. Please subscribe, comment down below. Like, this is the sort of thing that I would actually assign to a macro. You know, stuff like this, because then you could, you know, just have verb there, and then when you just pull this up, you can literally just pull up the verb, just, you know, different songs call for different vibes. So you could do it where, you know, you've got control over the 3 bands and things like that, so that you can literally you know, assign these to the macros, and yeah, you're just going to have a lot more flexibility with it without having to go in too deep, you know, which I think's cool. And then yeah, generally, because of like, I mean, we're hearing my CPU is not liking this one bit. You can, you know, once you're done with it, you could just freeze it. Oh, please subscribe. Comment down below. Comment down below. And then, like, you know, just get experimental with it. Like, just pull other vocals in. See what happens. Just do that over and see now what that does. You know, maybe not. Who knows? Again, you could just have more fun with that. I would, yeah. But like I say, I think the main thing with this is essentially just a solution to a problem I've had for ages, where I just really wanted to get that sound, like, and haven't been able to get it. So I just got creative with something. Now I'm sure many people do this, I reckon, or they've got tools that do an even better job than this. So I would absolutely love if anybody's got any other techniques or things, you know, that they do, little tricks, please share them, because yeah, I'd love to know about them. I just want vocals, you know, to sound as good as Bon Iver's vocals sound, you know, like, it's essential. It's really important, because his vocals sound sick and I want mine to sound sick. But yeah, it's a constant battle. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed. You know, do all the subscribey, likey things. That'd be wicked. Yeah, and if you want any more content like this, just give me a shout and let me know what it is that you want, and I will try and make it happen. Nice one. Safe, guys. Safe.